Hey guys, I'm doing a deck profile on my version of Royal Paladins, which is pretty much basic and simple to make with the current cards out in standard. But if you see any changes I should make, don't be afraid to comment below the video after you're done watching. So yeah, let's get into it. Your basic grade 0, Climb. When you ride Climb, you get to draw a card. Can't really pick anything else at the moment. And for the triggers, got the 4 draw triggers / perfect guards, which I love the change Bushiroad. That was such a great change to make. Just opened so much spaces for decks. Got 4 heals and 8 crits. Because Royal Paladins just like to beat their opponents in. Just kidding. That's all you can do currently with the cards out. Can't really mix and match your trigger lineup in Royal Paladins. Sad face. Or maybe that's a good thing. It makes the deck more consistent. And now for my grade 1 lineup, I'll go a little bit slower and I'll commentate on why I chose these grade 1s. So first, I run 4 Marins. I prefer 4 Marins over running any variant of grade 1s with Paladin in it, because Marin is just so much more consistent and you can use her effect multiple times, unlike Paladin's effect, which is only once. And they pretty much do the same thing. They boost something to 3,000. Well, Marin boosts herself, and you draw a card for counterblasting once. So it's pretty much, I say this is a better trade-off. Marin over Paladin, guys. I run 3 Morganas because she's such a good card. When this card attacks a Vanguard, you Soul Blast one, and it gets plus 3,000 for each grade of your Vanguard. So, say your Vanguard is a grade 3, it gets plus 9,000. If it's a grade 2, it gets plus 6,000, and it's a grade 1, plus 3,000. This card is such a good card for making early game numbers. But I only run 3 because you have the Soul Blast one, and your soul is very important in the Royal Paladin deck, and I'll explain why later. And I run only 2 Stallions because it's a pretty generic grade 1, and he makes numbers. If you have 4 more rear guards, this unit gets plus 3,000. Yeah, it's good to making those early game, mid game, late game pushes. And probably the most important grade 1 for Royal Paladins is Pongo, because Pongo is your soul charging engine, and if it soul charges a trigger, it gets plus 5,000. So, generating those numbers again. That's the name of the game for Royal Paladins. You just overpower your opponent as early as possible, because late game is kind of a drag for Royal Paladins, to be honest. So yeah, that's my grade 1 lineup. And now moving on to the grade 2s. I run 4 Jarens, 4 Blaster Blades, and 4 Ikones. I run 4 Jarens because he just makes numbers when this card attacks, and if you have 3 or more rear guards, this card gets plus 5,000. It's such a good card for mid-game, late-game pushes. I run 4 Blaster Blades because it's my avatar. No, I'm kidding. Because its effects are so good, and it's pretty much a staple. If it's your Vanguard and you have 4 more rear guards, this card gets a crit. So, say you're playing OTT, you want to ride Blaster Blade as fast as possible. You want to ride Blaster Blade because when you attack, you get to crit them early on, and you want to end your games with OTT as fast as possible, because late game with that deck is not so great, guys, because they block everything. And we can't forget about the basic Blaster Blade effect. You know, you get to retire a card from counter blasting and soul blasting one card, and you get to retire a front row rear guard, which is always a great thing to do. And this card, I can't explain how much I love this card. Akane, you get to search out your soul charging engine, Pongo, and you put it behind her. So, say you have her on the field, use her effect, and you get Pongo. If both effects go off, Akane gets a plus 3,000 if it's powered by a high beast, and Pongo is a high beast. So this is essentially what is this? 26,000 lane if both effects go off. So this is such a great number right here. And now for my grade 3s. I might change it, but I'm pretty happy with it. I run the standard 4 of King of Knights Alfred. Such a good card because you search out Blaster Blade out of your deck and you power it by 5,000 and you get to summon to your rear guard, and when you have a Blaster Blade on the field, this card gets plus 10,000 and you get your force marker. Such a good card. It thins out your deck, takes out Blaster Blade. And now I run 1 Alfred early. I might change this guy, but he's such a good card. You can counter blast 1 and you get to call Blaster Blade from your hand or your soul. If you roll Blaster Blade early, you get to call him out again, and it gets plus 10,000, and you get to draw a card. Such a good card. But I might change this card for the boss monster of this deck, which is Soul Saver Dragon, the boss monster of this deck. This card is so good because when you Soul Blast 5, you get to plus 15,000 to all your cards. Plus, since Royal Paladins are a Force clan, those numbers are just really hard to block. And, you know, if you're lucky enough, your Pongos are popping cards into your soul, you already have a big enough soul to pull off this card as soon as you ride. But, you know, if you're not lucky, when you attack with this card as your vanguard, you get to soul charge 1. So maybe you can ride into the next 2. Or maybe, yeah, you can ride into the next 2, hopefully. I'm gonna maybe change my Alfred early to a 4th one to make the deck more consistent. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just charge a soul until you have enough to Soul Saver Dragon act. And you get to just overpower your opponent with the power of force. That's what's great about Royal Paladins. It's just pretty much your game plan. You just make numbers and hit your opponent in the face as early as possible. So yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and guys, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram channel which we post a lot. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.